Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Josh, and I like to help people improve their fitness with different challenges. The focus of this video is flexibility and joint mobility. So if you have posture issues, if you deal with some chronic joint pain, if you kind of lack the mobility to do some everyday things and you want to improve that, this is going to be an excellent routine for you. Before I go too much further, I always try to link a Spotify and maybe a YouTube playlist to the bottom of the video. On this video, I can't play music in the background, and it always helps to have something going to help set the tone, to help get your mind in the right place to do the thing you're doing. So I'm going to leave a Spotify link for a couple pre-built playlists. And if you're able to have that playing while I'm on this, it'll probably help your experience out just a little bit. So here we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be the entire time, this is going to be full body, but I'm going to be on the mat the entire time. So I'm either going to be kneeling, laying, or sitting, one of those things. And start with a warm-up. I'm going to start seated to begin with. My legs are pretty straight, but I'm going to have soft knees, right? I'm going to focus on the ankles to begin with. I'm going to pull the toes back, push the toes forward, just moving in the biggest range of motion that I can. This takes time. I'm not using timers on this. I'm just going with the flow. But this stuff takes time. Things to think about when you're stretching or working on mobility is you don't want to fight the stretch sensation when you experience it. You want to expose yourself to that feeling as much as you can tolerate and try to work within those parameters to the best of your ability. I'm just giving this a little bit of time, and I'm going to start adding pieces to it. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to place my hands either on my legs or the mat, and I'm going to push my head forward gradually. For me, right now, I'm a little bit tight, so it's not going to take long for me to hit my limit. Again, once my head's as far forward as it can be, I'm going to start pushing it as low as I can push it. Again, you don't have to have locked out knees. Your knees could be up like this if that's what your limit is. So it's not about looking like me or looking like anybody other than yourself. It's about what am I feeling right now. You should be feeling a lot of maybe movement around the ankle and the calf, and a hamstring stretch, maybe a calf stretch. Okay, from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick my hands underneath my legs. I'm going to keep my toes tucked back. I'm going to grab my calves, I'm sorry. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to just push the back of my knees in the direction of the floor and then release. So I'll get out here a little bit further so maybe you can see it better. I've got a little slack in the knee joint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to remove the slack by locking my knees out. And again, I'm trying to keep my toes back, but something's going to have to give. So just listen to your body, challenge yourself as far as what kind of movement you can do. My head's still forward, my head's still low. And I'm giving it time. So your flexibility, your mobility can be wildly different day to day. On a really good day where I'm feeling really loosened up and I've done a lot of mobility work, my head might be 3 or 4 inches lower in the same position. Okay, now I'm gonna keep the toes back the best I can. I'm gonna keep the knees locked the best I can. And I'm just gonna rock my head forward and down and then kind of up to a more relaxed position. This is all back of the leg work, more or less, and lower back. And I want to think about, rather than pushing as hard as I can and making it a strenuous thing, I want to push as hard as I can, but be able to stay relaxed. So you want to find a compromise there. If you get really tense and you find yourself gritting your teeth and you're squeezing a bunch of muscles that you don't need to, you're probably pushing a little hard, where you could be more persuasive and just kind of work through it in a more relaxed fashion. I'm going to give this just a little bit more time, and then I'm going to do one more motion in this series. So with the things we've done and we're continuing to work on here, this is posterior chain. Could be anywhere from the bottom of your feet up to your calves, up to your hamstrings, to your glutes and lower back. Okay, now I'm going to actually grab my calves and I'm going to straighten out my knees. I'm going to pull my toes back and I'm going to push my head straight down towards the knees and then back up and backwards. I started with the calves. I could also grab my shins. I could also grab my toes. If you've got the mobility to grab your feet, go for your feet, and that's going to look a little bit different. The intention is still the same. So if you can't get to your calves, how far out can you get? If your calves aren't enough, go further. I'm keeping a grip on the same spot, keeping my toes back, keeping my knees as straight as I can keep them. And head movement, low, up and back, low, up and back. It may not look like I'm going back, but I'm actually putting pressure backwards with my head. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds and then move on. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, I'm turning over face down to work some opposite muscle groups. Resting on my hips and elbows here. I'm going to start with this. And I already kind of manipulated those ankles. I'm not going to focus on that as much. I'm going to focus on pulling my heels towards my rear end and dropping back down. How close to your rear end can you get your heels? So my head's up right now, right? I could go higher if I want to feel it pull tighter. I could go lower if I need a little bit more slack, a little bit more grace. And I've spent a lot of time driving the past couple days, so my lower back is definitely tighter than normal. I'm going to work this space for now, just moving that knee joint, getting the heels as close to my rear end as I can. Okay, if you get to the high point here and you feel too much lower back, squeeze the rear end. Let's incorporate that in. Okay, now what I'm going to do, if I feel like I'm getting a little slack here, I'm loosening up a little bit over time, I'm going to gradually lift my head higher and higher and higher. My hips stay on the ground. I'm going to work even higher over time. There'll be a point where I say take it or leave it. You know, with all of this stuff, you just go as far as you can go. Everything's a suggestion. All right, so I'm pushing my head a little bit higher. See if I can push my head up. I'm going to see if I can look up slightly. And I'm just moving those legs. So this may cause you to feel a lot of lower back. What I would tell you right now is you are stretching your hip flexors. Hip flexors have a big impact on your lower spine, and that might be why you're feeling that lower back. Trying to help give them some slack, help them loosen up a little bit so they're not so tense and causing you lower back pain. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna pull my heels in, gonna lift my head to the high point, and this is a lot higher pressure than before. Think about getting your heels in the back of your head as close to each other as you can, and you'll achieve the desired result here. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pulse my head and neck backwards at the top. Little bit longer. Keeping my heels as close to my rear end as I can, squeezing my butt if I need to, just for lower back support. All right, gonna relax everything for a second. I got a couple other things I'd like to incorporate into this. Okay, I'm just gonna keep the legs relaxed this time. I'm gonna get my hands under my shoulders and I'm gonna push up, but I'm gonna let my hips hang low, keep my knees on the mat. So going into, I think, what a yogi would call a cobra or an upward dog or something along those lines. I am not a yogi, but they do have some movements that are very powerful, they're very useful. So I'm gonna keep my hips low, I'm gonna tighten up my butt, and I'm gonna incorporate a look over the shoulder. I'm gonna look over my right shoulder, try to look at my feet. I'm gonna look over my left shoulder, try to look at my feet. Adding a little bit of tilting and rotation to this posture. Listen to your body. Okay, I'm gonna incorporate one more piece here. When I look to the left, I'm gonna try to get my right corner of my pelvis close to the mat. When I look to the right, I'm gonna try to get the left corner of my pelvis close to the mat. And for me, I have to bend my elbows a little bit. And that's okay, because I feel what it's doing for me. It's really hitting those hips. Try to keep the head up, try to look over the shoulder. Drop one hip, drop one hip. A few more seconds. Relax, relax. Okay, I'm gonna come up to my knees and my elbows. Top of my feet back here, toes together, knees apart. I'm gonna sit back towards my heels as deep as I can. From here, I'm gonna bring my face to hover just off the mat, and I'm gonna scoop my elbows forward. Now I shift my body weight left and right. I push my hips and shoulders right, push my hips and shoulders left. This whole spinal column and all the muscle that surrounds it, I'm just rocking left and right. Keeping my head low. Moving back and forth. I got a mic dragging on the mat, so if it's making extra noise, I apologize. It's just the posture. Keep in mind some things. if you are stiff and you're getting sore from some of these movements, once you leave the movement, once you leave the posture, if you feel relief, then just make a mental note that that soreness wasn't necessarily a bad thing. That was just the stress you needed to apply to your body to get some relief afterwards. So something to think about. I'm coming up to hands and knees now. I'm going to cross my right knee over my left leg. Okay? That's step one. And again, on some of these, you're going to add steps and just do the best you can. Step two, I'm going to slide my arms forward, bring my forehead back to the mat. So I should be feeling my left outer thigh, left glute, maybe my lower back. And I'm going to rock my hips left and right. This knee that's crossed and back, I'm trying to keep it down on the mat. If you got really tight hips, that might be a difficult task. And that's okay. You're just getting as close as you can. Okay, I'm going to incorporate another piece to this. I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to slide it across my chest. And I'm going to see how far I can take it to the left. Okay, so I keep my forehead down. I'm sliding that right arm as far to the left as I can. A good little side goal might be seeing if you can cross your knee with your elbow. Okay, now I'm going to take my left hand, the hand that's up here, and I'm going to try to walk it past my head to the right. And then I'm going to return to rocking left and right. This is going to translate to not just your hip and glute on the left side, but it's going to translate to doing a diagonal pull to your right shoulder, your upper back, the outside of your shoulder. And we're thinking being persuasive, right? We're thinking putting some pressure on it, but not so much that it elicits a negative reaction. You just want to feel the pull. That should kind of be your guide when you're saying, do I add this to the stretch or do I leave it out? Or can I stretch this far or do I need to dial it back a little bit? How does it make you feel? If you're completely overwhelmed and in shock from the feeling, it's probably a bit much. Just back up just a little bit. Giving it time, working those hips left and right, rocking back and forth. A lot of people in this position feel like they're going to fall over or they're trapped or something like that. It would be pretty tough to actually get into a roll. You might get stuck a little bit, but you probably wouldn't roll over. There's just, because you're using opposite limbs, makes it a little tougher to fully flip. Okay, I'm coming out of it. Let's try the other side. Okay, back up to hands and knees. I'm going to cross the left knee behind the right. I'm going to bring my forehead down to the mat. I probably have a nice big red mark on my forehead at the moment, but that's okay. And I'm going to slide my arms forward. Okay. From here, I'm going to rock my hips left and right. And in just a minute, I'm going to incorporate the left arm across the chest. I want to feel that right glute, right hip, right outer thigh, maybe the lower back. Everybody's a little different as far as limb length, proportions, where we're flexible, where we're not flexible. So, I can guess where you're going to feel this, but that's not like a 100% success rate. You may feel it somewhere slightly different, or somewhere entirely different. And, we all have our own circumstances. So let's say that happens. Leave me a comment and tell me, a timestamp. like right now, whatever the timestamp is, and then say, hey, I'm not feeling it in the same place as you. This is where I'm feeling it. And, you know, it might be a little bit of a guessing game, but I could probably surmise some things based upon what you're saying. Okay, incorporating that left arm across the chest. I'm trying to get that shoulder close to the floor, trying to get my elbow to pass my knee. And then I'm going to walk this right arm to the left as far as I can, because it's going to pull my upper back tighter. And I'm rocking again. Gonna give this a little bit of time. Notice we worked starting at the feet and we worked up towards the hips. Now we're at the hips and we're incorporating some core and upper body. That's kind of the direction we're going. We're gonna go work our way up and then all the way to the top and then call it a day. Okay, coming out of it. Next, I'm going to come back down to the mat. I'm going to spread out my hands like my body is a T-shape. I'm face down. I think this movement that I'm about to do puts a lot of pressure on people's shoulders and elbows, so you may have to find a way to modify it. I'll try to coach you through that here. So I've got this T-shape with my arms. I want to keep my palms down if at all possible. So if you're not able to, that's okay. You'll be able to flip your palm face up. Try to avoid it if you can help it, because it's going to help your shoulders out if you keep the palms down. So got the T-shape. Going to lift my left foot off the floor, and I'm going to lift my left hip off the floor. And now I'm rotating. My right hand is palm down. On the next side, I'll show you what it looks like on the trapped arm side. But my right palm is palm down, and I'm bringing my left foot as close to my hand as I can. So that could be going an inch. That could be they're touching. You know, everybody's different. So the right arm's trapped, the palm is down, and the foot is as close to the hand as I can get it. I'm going to keep mine floating in the air, just letting it hang there. And with my hip, I'm just going to do a pulse push backwards. My head's rested on the mat. This is the part where if you feel too much pressure on your arm, your right arm, you could flip the palm up. You can also kind of bend the elbow a little bit, and that's going to give your elbow some slack, or your shoulder might feel it a lot, and you can squeeze your shoulder blade, and that might help support it. I'm going to turn and try to look at the ceiling here. This is more hip work, but there's a lot more involved here. This is front of the shoulder, the bicep, the elbow joint. And I'm doing a horizontal pulse, sorta, with this left leg. I'm just letting it push backwards, push backwards. With that right hand, the one we can't see right now, I'm going to pick up the fingers and pull them back as far as I can. So maybe my wrist or the heel of my palm are stuck to the ground instead of my fingers. This is going to pull the stretch through my forearm a little bit too. Not a bad thing. Giving it a little bit more time. So, you know, it probably feels like I'm doing these for an eternity, especially on one that's really intense for you. What I would say to you is, at minimum, relax. At minimum, you want to spend a good 30 to 40 seconds on a stretch. Too short of a time won't produce any good results. So you want to put in more time than that, but if some area is a real problem area as far as stiffness, you could spend a few minutes there and it probably would be good for you. T-shape with the arms. I'm going to show you from the other side now. Palms down, bringing that right foot close to the left hand. Resting my head, trying to look at the ceiling. Pulsing with the hip. And I'm going to lift up my fingertips. And I'm going to squeeze that left shoulder blade. Giving it time. I don't want to give one side a whole bunch of time and then not another side, not the other side. Again, you might feel this in the shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, the hips, the lower back, your quad. Just a little bit longer. Relax, relax. Okay, the next movement I'm going to do is going to come up to seated. Go to seated here. I'm going to get in some kind of butterfly. Now, for this butterfly, it's not as important that I bring my feet in really close. It's more important that I hook my hands under my ankles. So you could be out far here if you're one of those people who can barely splay out their knees because your hips are super tight. Just do the best you can here. Get as close as you can. See if you can get underhooks on your ankle. Excuse me. A hiccup. Okay, I'm going to start here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you from the side actually. Okay, I'm going to do some spinal manipulation by pushing my head low and pushing my spine back, and then I'm going to bring my spine forward and pull my head up and back. Okay, while I do this, I'm going to try to scoot my feet a little further away from me because my hands are hanging onto my feet or my ankles. And this is going to stretch out my back more. And you're going to feel lower back, mid back, maybe your neck and shoulder blades. You'll feel that more shortly. But you're going to feel the glutes and the hamstrings, the outer thighs too. Maybe. All depends on you. Head low, pushing the spine back, rounding it. Pushing the spine forward, lifting the head, pulling it back. It's less about appearing away, and it's more about what you're feeling. And the point of this routine is relief. I'm going to keep my butterfly, and I'm going to take my hands and place them on the back of my head. I'm going to take my elbow or my chin and put it on my collarbone, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to push my head down until I feel it run through the back of my neck and shoulders. I'm going to keep the pressure on my neck, not too much. I'm going to turn my head as far as I can with that pressure, both directions. Left and right. This should hit the spine at the top. Should be hitting the back of the neck and maybe running through your upper back and shoulders a little bit. And then this rotation is going to incorporate your core a little bit too. A few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're getting close. Got a few left to do. And because we just put pressure on the neck, I'm going to come up to kneeling and focus on the neck in a different way. Okay, I'm kneeling. I'm going to push my hips forward. They want to be forward. And then I want to overlap my forearms. So if this is your limitation, that's great. If this is whatever level pulls those shoulders tight is ideal. I'm going to spread my knees out so I have a nice balance. I'm going to take left ear towards left shoulder, right ear towards right shoulder. Start here, moving that neck around side to side. A lot of people here like crunching when they're doing neck movements. Probably scar tissue. You're just kind of breaking it up a little bit, warming it up. A lot of people don't realize how stiff their neck is until they start to work it. Okay, instead of side to side, I'm going to incorporate my hips and spine and do a head circle. But it's more than a head circle because I'm using my whole torso to move. So I start with the head. I draw the biggest circle that I can, right? Both directions. Okay, then I start thinking about my tailbone and my hips. I want them to be always opposite in the range. So when I'm circling to the right, my hips are to the left. When I'm circling to the left, my hips are to the right. This is going to pull the stretch into, it's going to accentuate, it's going to pull it into a better stretch than it would be with just head movement. Giving it a little time here. Okay, pausing for just a second, maybe shaking my arms out a little bit, moving them around. I'm going to do a right-legged kickstand. I'm still kneeling. I'm going to do a right-legged kickstand, and I'm going to hit the neck and the inner thigh just a little bit more. I'm going to take this right hand, and I'm going to place it on my left ear. I'm going to peel my head to the right, and I'm going to feel this left oblique, the right inner thigh, and then my neck. So how far in can you go? And then I kind of return to the start. Okay, if I want to pull this tighter, I'm going to turn around so you can see it, just like before. Right foot out. I'm going to go, how high up my back can I get this left hand? So this is going to pull it tighter, but also incorporate more shoulder and arm into the movement. So we're just addressing more things at once. Okay, let's try the other side. Left foot kickstand. I'm just going to go right into my hand up my back, left hand on my right ear, peel my head to the left. I want to feel right oblique. You might feel left oblique too. Stretch on the inner thigh, and then my neck and my shoulder. This is the last thing I've got for you in this video. But I would say to you, this is not covering everything by any means. There's lots of variations and techniques that you could do from the mat that I haven't shown today, and I'm probably going to do those in other videos in the near future. You know, there's got to be a time limit at some point where I just say this is enough for the workout, and I can address a lot of areas. If you'd like to give me some input, what muscle group do you want to, what joint do you want to stretch out really well? What areas do you need to focus on for pain relief, for flexibility, mobility? And that's all I got for you. So if you found this helpful, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. If you have something to tell me in terms of what your favorite move was, or you felt one of these moves differently than I was talking about, or if you want to see me do some other areas, hit some other areas harder in other videos, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you. Have a good day.